Hi, my name is LEAH, an engineer at STEM Robo and UCMAS Kenya. STEM Robo is an abbreviation of Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, and Robo for Robotics. In STEM Robo, we incorporate 21st century skills, which include critical thinking, creativity, innovation, and many others. In STEM Robo, we normally offer coding, robotics, and artificial intelligence. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make a game using a program called Scratch program. Scratch is a block-based program used to make games, animation, and interesting stories. So in Scratch, we are going to open the program. And then the first thing, by default, you're going to find a cat here. But our game today, it's a jumping game whereby we are going to be making a chick to jump over an egg. If that chick touches the egg, then it's a game over. So we start by selecting our sprites. So you go where the sprites are. You can type a chick there. Then you also choose, by default, you're going to be finding a cat there. So ensure you delete the cat sprite. Go to sprites again and choose the other sprite, which is an egg, and then make sure you choose the appropriate backdrop. So go to backdrops, choose the blue sky. So now we are going to start by doing a game plan. So in game plan, we normally use a flowchart. The oval shape, this one shows start. Then we have an arrow to show direction. Here we have the process, what is going to be happening. So here we have the chick jumping. And we have the egg gliding. After that, we are going to be giving it a decision, like we are going to use a diamond shape. Here we have the diamond shape. And then in the diamond shape, it's whereby you do a decision. So the decision is, if the egg touches the chick, then what happens? So we have two decisions. If this egg touches the egg, then what will happen? So in the case whereby the egg has not touched the chick, the process should continue. And which process am I talking about? You have the chick continuing to jump and the egg still gliding. And also our score to change by 1. So we have the score to always increase by 1. So here, if yes, this chick touches the egg, then it's supposed to be a game over. So we have the oval shape for the beginning of the game and the end game. So here it's a stop. So let's now go to the Scratch program and now code for the sprites. So we start by the chick. So here we drag when the space key is pressed. Drag it, put it at your coding palette. And then this chick is supposed to jump. So it's supposed to move up by the y-axis is supposed to change by a certain coordinates, and they also go back down. So it's supposed to decrease by certain coordinates. So we go here, we say change y by this. First go to control. We have the repeat. It's supposed to repeat 10 times. And then now this chick, the y to change by 10 being positive, and then the same block for repeat, it's supposed to decrease by -10. So make sure you edit your 10 here to be a negative. Then you can press the green flag and maybe press the press bar to see whether it's working. So the next thing to do is to code for the egg. So the egg is supposed to be gliding from right to left. You have to first set the starting point. So we start with the events. When the green flag is clicked, I want always this egg to always come at that position. And then I go to control, I check my forever block, I put it here, Then now I want it to be starting from this end and then gliding all the way towards the cheek. So go to motion. We have go to. First it has to always start at that position, then it's supposed to glide. You have to change the coordinates, drag your egg towards the cheek, and then as you can see the coordinates have changed. So drag the glide and then you can see whether it's working. So yes, it's working. So now the next condition, the next step to do is to put a condition whereby if this egg touches the cheek, it's a game over. So now by default we come here, we go to sensing, we have a block called touching, but this touching is put inside a if statement, a if and then statement. So go to control, drag the if and then block, put it inside your coding palette, put the touching inside. Once it's white, it's when you can drop it. So instead of a mouse pointer, you change this one to a cheek. So if now touching the cheek, then what happens? It should display game over and it should stop all. For you to display a game over, you go to backdrops, choose the same backdrop, then go to backdrops here, and then you put a text which shows that it's a game over. So here we write game over. So you have already created that block which is going to be displaying a game over. So how do you code for it? Go to your egg coding and then you put change backdrop. So go to looks, drag the block which is written, switch backdrop to sky blue to put it here, and then by default you are supposed to start when the backdrop hasn't changed. So by default, first when the green flag is clicked, make sure your sky it's sky 1. And then now let's add the score for the cheek. So once the cheek jumps the egg, it's supposed to increase or add for you, give you a score. So here you go to variables, you have to drag first set, we have when the green flag is clicked, we are going to set our variable to 0. So the game should always start when you have a 0 score. And then what happens once you touch the space bar, now the score changes. So drag the block, put it here. As you can see here is written my variable, so you can change that to my score. So you edit it, write score. As you can see, it has changed. And then by default this cheek should always start at this point. So go to motion also, drag the block which is written go to, put it below set, and then you can play your game. So it's a game over since my egg has touched the cheek. So here that's a simple game using Scratch program. Okay, so I said the first thing you have to do is you have to do a game plan. So by game plan we normally use a flow chart. And what is a flow chart? A flow chart is a graphical representation that uses shape to represent the flow of a process. So as you can see, here is the starting position of our game. So once our game starts, what is the process? We have our cheek jumping and our egg gliding. Then we have a decision. This one is called a diamond shape. It's used to give a decision. So here it incorporates now the if condition. For example, if the egg touches the cheek, then what? Then we execute. It's either it's a game stop game, or we increase our score by 1. From scratch. Okay, so the first thing on your left we have the blocks. At the center we have our coding palette. On the right we have where now the game will be displayed. So the first thing to do is to select a sprite, and here in this jumping game we need a cheek and an egg. So go to sprites. Here is where we have a variety of sprites, and then you choose the sprite that you want to use. So in our case, we are going to be using a chick sprite. So you can type it, we have it here. You select it. Also an egg, so you also type an egg here. Then you select, then now go back to your coding area. Start coding from one sprite. So the first sprite we are going to be coding for, it's a chick. So what do we want our chick to do? We want our chick to jump. By jumping, we mean that it's only going to be changing the y-axis. So go to blocks, drag the block where it's written change y by 10. Put it inside your repeat block. And then after that, go to blocks again, drag the repeat block, put it beneath here, and then also change y again by a negative this time round. So we have our y changing by a negative 10, and then you can press your green flag to see whether it's been executed. So as you can see, once you press the space bar, the chick is jumping. So let's now go and code for the egg. So in our egg, we need this egg to be gliding from right to left. So what do? First, you have to set the starting position, which is the coordinates. You drag this egg up to this end, and then take those coordinates, drag it, put it below here, the green flag. And then now it's supposed to, we are going to be using a forever loop. So forever, it's used to execute the blocks which are inside that particular block continuously to infinity. And then the if statement here, it's used to give a condition. For example, if this egg touches the chick, then it's a game over. If the chick jumps the egg, then we increase the score by 1. So you put the forever block, then go to motion, drag the go to block, put it inside, and then you have to go and make now this egg to glide from this end to this other end. So make sure you change the positioning of the egg up to that end, and then now go to your motion, pick now the glide block with now the new coordinates, and then put it below the go to. As you can see, we have it here, and then now give it a condition. Now when this chick touches this egg, we want it to display a game over. For you to code for a game over, you go to backdrops, choose the same backdrop you had. So we have the blue sky here, so we're going to be choosing the blue sky again, and then now you code for that game over. You put a text, so go to backdrops, select it here, and then now put a text. So you have to make sure the T is highlighted for texture, and then now you type whatever you want to be displayed. So in my case, it's a game over. So we have it here. And then now go back to your code. So we wonder if this chick touches the egg, we want it to switch to backdrop 2 to display now the game over. So by default, you have to be having the first backdrop, the one which doesn't have a game over text. So make sure you go to looks, drag that block which is written switch backdrop to, put it below when the green flag is clicked, and then ensure it's the first backdrop. So here we have that block there, and then now once the chick touched the egg, now we can display now our game over. Once you're done, press the green flag and play your game. Okay, so after showing you the Scratch program, I'm going to teach you how to make a robo car. So here we have our kit here. It's from STEM Robo. Here we have a manual you can follow So here we have our manual. These are the apparatus that I'm going to be using to make for you a car. So the first step is to connect your motor. This game, we normally call it a simple mechanic car, simply because we are teaching them the basic of a motor and some gears here. These are our gears. We have the big gear and the smaller gears from this end. So let's start with step number 1. My step number 1 is to connect the orange pieces, these ones, to my motor here, as you can see. So that's the step number 1. Then I take my CH60, I connect it to my motor. Here it's where you insert it. After that, I'm going to attach it to this green plate. You have to do some mathematics, so you have to count 1, 2. So the first step is supposed to be connecting the motor to this green plate. Step number 2, I'm going to be joining this plate, this green plate, to the other green plate here. So I need these green pieces, these black pieces here, 3 of them. So I'm going to be using these apparatus to join this one here. So you connect this black piece here, all of them. And then now you insert it here, the first hole here. And then now I can merge my green piece here. So make sure the positioning is straight. It's supposed to make something of this sort. The next step, I'm going now to be joining my gears. So we have 2 different small gears. We have the one with a star shape and we have the one with a circular shape. So for the star shape, I use my CH100, this one here, to join it here. And then now I put it inside here. Then after that, I'm supposed to join this one. This circular one is called a G20 glider. So join it up here. And then now I insert the big gear here to my motor. Make sure the positioning is right. You have to do some small mathematics here by counting the holes. So here I am inserting the gears, the small gears. They are the ones who are going to be making the big gear to rotate. Same way I'm going to be doing to the other side. So here we have the G20 idler here. And then now we put this one using a CH100, this black piece here. So you put it below here. So this is the display of the gears, and then now I have to add my wheels. So I pick the blue pieces or the spacer, my wheels here. So after the blue gear, I'm going to be putting one piece, and the other side I'm going to be putting two pieces. And then the other side the same. I have one piece remaining to this other side here. Then now I put my wheels. So you put 4 wheels, 2 each side. So you have to make sure the star shape matches this CH100. Then now here is our car. So if it's too high, you can lower this positioning of the holes. So let me switch this one to the lower end here. So make sure your gears doesn't change. Then now you put your wheel. So to this side we are ready to put our wheel. Same thing to this other side. So the last hole here. And then now you put your gears. Then now you put the black piece, then your wheel. So now we can test our car whether it's working. Just a minute, it's too tight. Oops. So you can put the forward gear. Yes. Let me see what's wrong here. My gears are too tight. if they are too tight, you loosen them a little bit. So let me switch the batteries. So here is the final product. And then this is a forward gear, so I put a reverse gear, it goes backwards. Yes, so the other model I'm going to be making a more advanced electric car. So this kit is called a Megatron kit. So after that one is the basic one. After that, we normally take them to a more advanced one. This one is called a Megatron kit. It normally uses a remote to control the car. So in this case, I'm going to be using a remote. Here is my remote. I have some cables here. I'll tell you about them. So this one is called the adapter. This one is where we normally connect to the power source. And then we have different plates here. We have different plates and we name them according to the shape at the end here. Like this one is a small L. This one is a small C, since it has a C shape at the end here. This one we call it a power distributor. This is where the power is distributed to the motors now to give the motion. We're going to be needing things. And then we are going, these ones are called the medium plates. Then we have the small plates here. This one is a motor. We are going to be using them. Sorry. We're going to be using two motors here. So now I start my connection. So the first step is to connect the two medium plates this way, using bolts and nuts. These are the bolts and the nuts. So you can put them for easy choosing. Then now I'll be joining my plates here. So you position it here, put it inside the hole, and then you tighten it using a nut. You can tighten using your hands or a screwdriver here. The other side, make sure it's also done the same. So after this, you connect these are now small C's here, this way. So you put it here, make sure you tighten it. So we have silver nuts and bolts, so make sure you interchange. Do the same to the other end here. So do the same to the other side. We have this shape made here. Do the same to this other end here. Let me put it on the table. So the same positioning of the hole, do the same here. Pick your bolts. Lock it. Same to the other one here. So now the next step, it's by default you have to always fix this one on your big plate here. So let me fix mine. Then the other nut same way. You don't have to fix all the nuts in these holes. You can fix just 4, 2 each side. And then now you pick your small, this one is called a small L, put it here. So turn it the other way to lock it with the nuts. So once you're done, now take your motors. You can tighten them using your screwdriver here. So let's tighten a bit. Make sure not too tight but not too loose also. Just a little bit tight. Now we have to fix our motor. This is our motor. So this one, you position it here. So put it here, and then you have to fasten it using a nut here so that it doesn't fall or keep on disturbing. So pick a nut. Using your screwdriver, tighten it. Do the same to the other side. Make sure the motors look the same direction. So the other motor also, tighten it using a nut. So here is where now you put your wheels. So you pick your wheel, attach it here, just squeeze it slowly, then you tighten it with a bolt and a nut. This one, let me open it first. Same way here. Put the wheel and then lock it with this lock and nut. Tighten it a little bit. Then now you have to fix a caster wheel at the front here to act as the other two wheels for the car. So first I'm going to put this plate here. Then I insert my nuts. So tighten it also. The other nut also, you need to put a bolt. Now pick your caster wheel. Or this one is not tight enough. Let me first use a screwdriver to tighten. This is what we call a caster wheel. So I'm going to put it here at the front, and then its nuts are small and different from the others, so you identify them using the size. They are the smallest. So you put the nut here and then you tighten with the bolt here. So let me do it. Make sure you tighten also like the other nuts. Then now you can add another nut. The smallest nuts with their bolt. So since it's too tiny, you have to be careful. Or we can use the first nut, it's already tight enough. So let's now make the connection how the power is going to be coming from the adapter, the motors. So this one I'll connect it to the power source. I need my motor cable, these ones. This one is a little bit loose, let me tighten. So this one we call it a motor cable. It takes power from the motor, from the power distributor to the motors. So we have two motors, so we have to use two motor cables. And then now we have to use our data cable to take now the power from the remote to our power distributor. So you connect it here, and then to our power distributor. Here is our power distributor. And then now I'm going to be connecting my remote to the power source. So let me go near the power source. So our remote is set. So now we control it. Sorry. So let me. So now this is the one which is saying this one is our remote, this one is the one which is making the direction. So we normally use the remote to give the direction, and then now it takes the power from the adapter. First we connect our adapter to the power source. In this case we have used an extension. Then from there we take that power to the remote, and then now the power is taken to the power distributor using the data cable, the yellow cable here. And then now from there we use the motor cables to take now our power to the motor. Yes, as you can see our car is moving, so let's maybe test it again. This one is the more advanced one. We started with the simple mechanic car. In STEM Robo, we normally incorporate the 21st century skills. As you can see, we have some creativity here, some innovation, and some critical thinking. So once we teach our learners the basic, now they are able to make more projects and more advanced projects on their own. So this one is the more advanced one. This one is the basic one for grade 3. We normally call it a simple mechanic car, simply because we are using gears here and a motor. This is the one which is giving it power. The power here comes from the motor. It's a different case from this one. Our power here is coming from the power source to the adapter to the remote, and then now to our power distributor. Then now it's distributed to our motors here. The motors here are different. So thank you. I was your host, LEAH KATIWA from UCMAS and STEM Robo Kenya, offering coding and robotics and artificial intelligence program. Thank you.